The Centre for Economics and Business Research, CERB, in London, England, publishes the WELT report every December. In December 2022, the WELT 2023 report was released and predicted that the global economy would be depressed in 2023, and in addition to this, 14 years from now, in 2037, the world's economic powerhouse was analyzed, predicted and announced. So today, based on this report, let's look at the top 15 global economic powerhouses in 2037. Where will your country be in 14 years? Start right now. 15th place is Mexico. GDP in 2037 $2.594 trillion. From 2027 to 2037, the report forecasts Mexico's economic growth rate to average 2.2% per year. In addition to a slowdown in the U.S. economy, crime and corruption within Mexico will also have an impact on growth, the report predicted. 14th place is Russia. GDP in 2037 $2.885 trillion. The parameters of the invasion of Ukraine were applied to this report. Russia will be in recession until 2024, after which it will grow at a CAGR of 1.3% from 2025 to 2034. Compared to 2022, WELT's ranking of global economic powers has fallen 5 places. 13th place is Australia. GDP in 2037 $3.87 trillion. Australia's economy may not recover until 2027 due to declining demand for fossil fuels and a slowing economy in its main economic partner, China. From 2028 to 2037, Australia is projected to grow at an average annual rate of 2.2%. 12th place is Italy. GDP in 2037 $3.88 trillion. Italy's ranking in 2023 in the WELT report is 10th, but the economy is expected to decline by 0.4% despite trying to reduce its dependence on Russia and increase its share of Africa in relation to energy. In the long term, it was predicted that the ranking would drop by 2 notches after 14 years. 11th place is Indonesia. GDP in 2037 $3.585 trillion. With its abundant population and resources, Indonesia's economy was expected to overcome inflation. In particular, it is predicted that the Indonesian economy will record an average annual growth rate of more than 4% for the next 14 years from this year, and the ranking of economic powerhouses is expected to rise 6 places from 17th. 10th place is Canada. GDP in 2037 $3.591 trillion. In 2023, Canada is expected to grow at just 0.6%, recovering to 1.8% in 2024, and then recording an average annual growth rate of 2% from 2027 to 2037. This is a figure above the G7 average, but it is analyzed that Canada's 2037 WELT economic powerhouse ranking will fall by 2 notches from this year. It is seen that the world's carbon neutrality will have a great impact on the resource industry, which is currently the core of Canada's economy. 9th place is South Korea. GDP in 2037 $3.801 trillion. In the report, South Korea projects an average annual economic growth rate of 2.4% from 2023 to 2027 due to its export-oriented economy, which is affected by rising prices, high interest rates and foreign demand. From 2028 to 2037, South Korea's economic growth rate fell by 0.1% and was expected to maintain an annual average of 2.3%. For this reason, South Korea's WELT economic powerhouse ranking is expected to rise to 10th in 2026 and then maintain 9th for more than 10 years. 8th place is Brazil. GDP in 2037 $4.29 trillion. Although Brazil's unemployment rate has recently declined to 8.3%, it remains high, and a fiscal deficit of 5.8% of GDP remains a destabilizing factor for Brazil's economic stability. In this situation, President Lula was officially inaugurated again, and attention is being paid to whether he can stabilize the economy. Nevertheless, from 2027 to 2037, Brazil's economy is projected to grow at an average annual rate of 2.3%. 7th place is France. GDP in 2037 $4.606 trillion. From this year to 2027, France's economic growth rate is expected to slow to an average annual rate of 1.2%, but from 2028 to 2037, it is expected to improve to 1.7%, an annual average increase of 0.5%. The French government's active attraction of foreign investment is seen as a positive factor for France's future economy, and for this reason, it is analyzed that France's WELT ranking of world economic powerhouses will continue to maintain its 7th place. 6th place is the United Kingdom. GDP in 2037 $5.601 trillion. After the virus pandemic, the UK recorded the highest growth among the G7, with growth of 7.5% in 2021 and 4.4% in 2022. However, in the future, the UK's economic growth rate is expected to remain at an average annual rate of 1.8% until 2029, then decline by 0.1% to an average annual rate of 1.7% from 2030 to 2037. Nonetheless, the report predicts that the sixth position of the world's economic powerhouse, which has been maintained since 2021, will be able to continue into 2037. Fifth place is Germany. GDP in 2037 $6.889 trillion. Russia's heavy reliance on energy has come as a shock due to the recent Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the damage is greater than any other country. This is because the economy of Germany, a manufacturing powerhouse, was maintained through this energy. Therefore, it is important to secure a new energy alternative supply source, and the report predicted that the German economy will recover from 2024. However, the actual economic growth rate is expected to be only 1.1% per annum until 2027 and 1.5% per annum from 2028, so Germany's ranking of economic powerhouses in 2037 is fifth, down 2 notches from now. Fourth place is Japan. GDP in 2037 $8.754 trillion in 2023. Japan's World Economic Power ranking is third, but it is predicted to fall 1 notch from this in 2037. It was expected to return to third place around 2030, but the report analyzed that it would not be able to maintain it due to stagnant economic growth. While economic growth has been sluggish since the 1990s, Japan's average annual economic growth rate is expected to record 1% until 2027, and from 2028 to 2037, it is expected to become even worse, reaching an average annual rate of 0.8%. Third place is India. GDP in 2037 $12.5 trillion. India has a remarkable growth rate and is expected to continue its upward trend. The report analyzed that GDP will exceed $10 trillion in the 2030s, which is a huge growth compared to India's ranking of world economic powers in 2007, which ranked 12th. India's economic growth rate is expected to grow at an average annual rate of 6.4% from this year to 2027, and from 2028 to 2037, it is expected to exceed this rate and grow at an average annual rate of 6.5%. Second place is the United States. GDP in 2037 $44.948 trillion. Although the United States is currently the world's largest economy and the wealthiest country, the report predicts that it will overtake China in terms of GDP by 2036. Of course, with China's slowing economic growth due to the virus, the timing of overtaking has been delayed by about 6 years compared to past expectations, but the fact that it will be overtaken remains unchanged. A bigger problem is that US GDP is gradually declining as a share of world GDP. Currently, the United States is superior in military power, economic power, and diplomatic power, but there are many opinions that only military power will remain superior in the future. First place is China. GDP in 2037 $45.49 trillion in 2022. China recorded an economic growth rate of 3.2%, below previous forecasts, due to the virus. From 2024 to 2027, growth is again forecast at an average annual rate of 4%, but then slows to 3.2% from 2028 to 2037, the report predicted. Nevertheless, it is analyzed that China will overtake the United States and become the world's #1 by 2036. However, the decline in population growth, the increase in the aging population, and the uncertainty of the real estate economy remain problems for the Chinese economy, and the biggest variable is if China invades Taiwan. This would bring economic sanctions from Western countries and make it impossible for China to overtake the United States, the report predicted. Today, we looked at the top 20 economic powerhouses in 2037. If you are satisfied with the video, please subscribe and like it, and I will come back with a more fun and informative video. Thank you.